You are welcome to the Guru's Perspective, and thank you for staying tuned with us. Today we are going to discuss something very briefly. Let me tag it. Atiku Abubakar long trek to Delta State. The issue having won the ticket, constitutionally is demanded of him to provide a running mate. Because without provision of a running mate, INEC will not accept the political party for the election. It is for that reason that whoever is the candidate must be very, very careful of who he picks as a running mate. He or she picks as a running mate. Because if there's any liability that might cause the running mate to be disqualified, it is not the running mate alone that will be disqualified. The running mate will be disqualified with the candidates. It's for that reason that APC lost out in Bayelsa State in 2019. So, Atiku Abubakar had carefully picked a trek, which started from the desert, Adamawa, and went down to the coast. As he was approaching the coast, there were many options before him. But he landed in Delta State, where he had now picked Senator, His Excellency Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa at the running mate. That is what we want to analyze today. That is what we want to look at. Why the choice of Okowa? As I ask that question, why the choice of Okowa? The question can be reversed. Why not choice of Okowa? Yes, because if you throw the question to the right, the second question is qualified to move to the left. Why the choice of Okowa? Okay, why not the choice of Okowa? Confronting Atiku Abubakar after winning the presidential nomination of PDP, every person knew that he must come to the south to pick his running mate. What people didn't know, which zone in the south? Because the south is classified into 3 zones: southwest, south-south, and southeast. Then, who will he pick? A male politician or a female politician? Who will he pick? A younger generation or an older generation that has not much stake in affairs of living? But he has picked somebody. Averagely, Okowa is not too old. So Okowa blend with the younger generation while he's knocking at the door of the older generation. So he is a mixed green that will be acceptable to the people. On coming to the south, why did he not go to the southwest? That's a very big question. Knowing fully that the winning of presidential election in Nigeria is dependent on 2 most viable geopolitical zones. The northwest, because of the population, because the northwest has 7 states, is the only geopolitical zone in Nigeria with 7 states. And the southwest. The southwest has the population. If Lagos alone will deliver very, very many voters. Then again, if Atiku Abubakar had come to southwest to pick a candidate, he may have to search for years to get somebody that would deflect the personality profile of Bola Tinubu in southwest. The truth is this: the Afenifere, the socio-political, cultural organization that covered Yoruba, had said many times, no, we don't want Tinubu, we don't want Bola Tinubu, we don't want Amen. No, it's not that. But all those have become rhetorics now. Because once a son of the soil, so to put it, is picked from southwest, all the people that are saying, not Bola, they will kill behind their own. So for Atiku Abubakar to get somebody who could match would be a terrible thing. He did not just look at the southwest. It doesn't matter either the first wife Titi is from the nation or not. It doesn't matter. So he moved, meaning he had choices between the south and the southeast. And of course, people were saying, names were flying. Pius Anyim was there. Theodora, former governor of Imo State before, Uzodima flew from Supreme Court to take over, were there. Many other names were being mentioned. Then, people were equally looking at Wike, the executive governor of Rivers State. The men were equally looking at Okowa. Then let us weigh the choice of Atiku back and the journey he took. The committee set up by PDP 2 times picked Wike, the man I call the hippopotamus from the rivers. Then, on the last day of sitting, how many of them were in the committee? 5 did not vote. But those who vote, they all pick Wike. Then on this day of the final decision to bring somebody out, the chairman of the party, Senator Ayu, now forced the remaining 5 that never voted that they must vote. It is at this point of the forceful implementation of the voting procedure that Okowa came ahead of. It has been said that Atiku wouldn't want Wike from beginning. So he used the chairman of the party to read the script he wrote to knock Wike off. Okay, what are the gains? What are the losses of this choice? First and foremost, Wike had said it that he would never be a second-class citizen in his own country. That's when he was talking of either he would vie for the vice presidency. He said he would not be. That is number 2. What must Atiku have feared most in the choice of Wike? Let us analyze character now. Wike is a very, very straightforward human being. He tells you this is what I will do, that is exactly what he will do. Wike has been so very, very loyal to the party. That is PDP. Not more, as facts of the ground will say, than Okowa. No. You cannot say that. Okowa was one of those who started the party from the beginning. And he has remained in the party all throughout. Which means the loyalty matter tied somewhere there. Wike is a man who is very, very bold. And you will be able to read him like a book. Because it is what he says he will do that he does. Whatever he says I will not do, no power will force him. And he will be declaring, I said I will not do it. And he will stand by that. Meaning, against his principle, his powers of compromise are not too much outstanding. And the politics, you need to be seen as compromising sometimes. Whatever you want to call it. That is Wike. These are for Wike. Then for Okowa. Okowa started his political career with PDP in the beginning. He started from being chairman of local government. Meaning, he started in the classroom of beginners. Like we say, that kindergarten class. And that class where he started is the grassroots real politics. Is the politics of grassroots movement. Local government. He left the local government, he became a commissioner. I think that James Onalefibu. He moved from there, he became secretary to government of, meaning he started classroom of kindergarten. That is pure politics. When he became a commissioner, he now went to the classroom of political administration, where people are trained for administration of politics. Then when he became secretary to the government of Delta State, obviously he has graduated to the place that he could become the principal of that classroom where administration of politics is taught. Then he left there, he went and he got the vote, he went to the Senate. As a man in the Senate, he now mastered the politics of lawmaking and that arm of government. Then he returned back. He became governor, 2-time governor. This are what way in his favor. So now, Atiku Abubakar needs to be careful. One thing that people hold against him is the fact that as he is, if he tells you this is what I will do or this is what I will not do, it doesn't matter. He will disagree with you in the public. So it was being speculated that Atiku Abubakar better be careful, because if he goes for campaign and he will be going with his running mate for campaign, Wike will stand up on the same platform of campaigning and say, Nigerians, I don't agree with my boss or the president or the candidate, and he will be ready to even argue it up with him before the glare, because that is just who he is. So Atiku Abubakar have to be careful. Then apart from that, Wike is always too blunt, and this is bluntness that comes with some arrogant statements, like what he told the National Working Committee of PDP. He said, you people sitting here, I help most of you to become this. So it is time for you now to help me to pay back. He called it payback time. Those are more or less languages of blackmail. So I think this is what Atiku avoided by going to court and giving the distance. So it is a court that Atiku has picked. How much will the Okowa Atiku ticket deliver to the PDP? That is yet to be seen. And we shall be going into the narration as we move into the future. Because that is exactly what we must look at now. And it is very, very important. Because the other party, APC, these are the leading ones. APC is looking. Now APC got a Southwest man, a man with pedigree, a man who has built massively structure from the Southwest. Ahmed Bola Tinubu. APC now will be looking to the north to pick the running mate. The issue of Muslim is no problem as credited to El-Rufai will not stand. If APC goes on that, it will be self-destructive. Meaning, Ahmed Bola Tinubu is wiser than that in politics. He will not commit that mistake. Of course, he has picked Masari is to hold the gap until they make the decision. So I am suspecting that at the other end, it is either Atiku Abubakar Bola Tinubu picks Mustapha Boss, the present secretary to the government of distribution, except that people will look at it that Mustapha Boss was a replacement for David Babasha for him. Because when he was caught in that grass-cutting mess of contract, he brought his nephew or cousin, his cousin, because Boss Mustapha is a cousin to David Babasha. So he brought him in. People may be looking at this, but that one is a Christian, and that one is a secretary to the government of the federation, and he's young. Then there are another person from Adamawa State. He's a female. He's a solid politician, very, very young, beautiful, and is fluent in his language. That one had, first of all, went to the National Assembly, House of Representatives from Kaduna. He contested the Kaduna Congress. She won. Now, she is in the Senate from Adamawa. And that would be another good choice. But I don't think this Bola Tinubu will go for Muslim. Then what are we seeing? We are seeing a clash of the Titan in 2023. Finally, this clash of the Titan is without welcoming force in the Labour Party. Because Peter Obi will be a factor. If he does two more things correctly, he has the followers on Twitter now, Instagram, and Facebook. The difficulty of transforming the votes from Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook into dropping it into the box at the polling booth is one. Two, will he be able to penetrate the north with the Instagram followership, with the YouTube followership, with the Facebook followership? It's the most difficult thing. But if he dines and wines with some gods of the land in the north, then it shall no more be battle of only three political parties. It shall be battle of three. And who will win it is yet to be seen. For now, please Drop your comments. Drop your comments. It's very, very necessary because your comments will make us perform better. And of course, subscribe. Touch the buttons. Like it. Touch the button. The will come back. But for now, it's signing off.